Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the Jaime Ponce Wash Processed Ecuador from Passenger Coffee. And there's the bag right there. And Passenger Coffee based out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And this coffee right here was featured in our most recent blind taste test rankings video, where it finished second place out of 4 passenger coffees. And with that being said, it finished second place on that day because it was slightly more flavor profile. But truth be told, especially on that day, it was very hard to pick between those 3 cups of coffee, as they were all really good and really close in terms of enjoyment. So this one just slightly edged out to the other 2. But with that being said, by the end of this coffee, it definitely was our second favorite of the coffees we were drinking. So let's talk about it in a little bit. One thing we did want to discuss was a little bit more information about Passenger, given that this is a great opportunity to talk about them. So we have been to both of their cafes out in Lancaster, and as you'd imagine, they're really pretty cafes. But one kind of unique thing for Passenger is they use the AeroPress as their main hand brew method for all of their coffees. And we did have a conversation with the barista both days we went, one like 2.5 hour long conversation, another like 2 hour conversation. And one thing we did ask them was why they like the AeroPress so much, and we got a great answer. So the AeroPress is a lot more consistent of a brew method, given that you can come up with one recipe and it's a lot easier to teach people. There's a lot more margin for error when you are using something like a Chemex, a V60, a Kalita, and we really did enjoy that answer, as every cup of coffee we had while we were there was a really enjoyable cup of coffee. But it could also be a testament to Passenger, as we've never had a cup of coffee from them we've been disappointed at all with. So Passenger is quite amazing. But let's start talking about this coffee specifically. So the recipe we had for this coffee is the same as we had for the other coffees, 15.625 to 1 water to coffee ratio at 210 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the recipe they have on their website. And again, any other recipe we used, the coffee was still coming out pretty good, so you can't really go wrong with whatever you do. And this is on the lighter side of American coffee, so we're still going to call it a light American for the roast profile. With that out of the way, let's start discussing the coffee itself. This right here is day 15. All right, day 6, which was the blind taste test day, and we mentioned that it was by far the most tart cup of coffee on that day, kind of like a raspberry lemonade, which made it pretty easy. Well, actually, it was really difficult to pick it out. We felt kind of lucky to get it right, but yeah, it was the most tart cup of coffee, and that's what helped us figure it out. Day 7, first day we were able to focus on this coffee by itself. It had a lot of similarities to the Tumateso from Sweet Bloom, which we really enjoyed. So many similar characteristics. It had this lemon base with some slightly sugary components to it, and it very much like a Sweet Bloom coffee, lighter body, so it was acting quite a bit like a washed Ethiopia. Nothing overly distinct in terms of the berries, but a pretty clean cup on that today, pretty enjoyable. Day 10, still a super tart, but the tart acidity in this coffee is really enjoyable, and don't ever want to get that confused, because sometimes overly acidic coffees can be a bad thing, but sometimes the acidity can be really pleasant, and we felt that way about this coffee, especially on this day. Wide array of things, from a dominant lemon to some more subtle fleshy fruits and what we would describe as a zesty vanilla. And one thing we wanted to give Onyx massive credit for is they have a lot of coffees that have this vanilla flavor note that we've tried. So as a result, we've gotten pretty good at detecting the vanilla flavor note, as it's something that was very common in a lot of Onyx coffees for quite a while. And it's really enjoyable in this. It's a nice little addition to this cup of coffee. Day 11, still tart, super lemon dominant. A lot of the dominant citrus was perhaps more of even a tart apple, something like green apple. And a very clear red berry fruit was also lingering in the finish, which was quite nice. Still a zesty cup. Sweetness was increasing quite a bit as the coffee had cooled down. And then day 14, we noticed something, and we've been told this before, that the best way to drink Passenger is starting it at 2 weeks, and this is 2 weeks, and this coffee was significantly better than it had been on the previous days, which is amazing because it had been pretty good up to this point. A lot less tart and zesty citrus components in this, but there was a more clear and distinct vanilla taste, and we are even getting a lot of this kind of cookie sweetness, which makes sense because they have listed here a vanilla wafer, and they have it listed as their first flavor note, and it's definitely there. The citrus, the lemon died down a little bit, became a more well-rounded cup rather than this kind of straightforward lemon citrus to it. Lighter body, quite crisp, really enjoyable cup of coffee. As we're drinking it again today on day 15, can't help but notice that this coffee seems to be getting significantly better. So yeah, definitely probably better to wait post the 2 week mark, but we had to unfortunately speed run through this bag of coffee as well. Only did so because we're focusing most on the Los Yoyos and the Mario Moreno, as that was our first place finisher and the entire reason we purchased all these Passenger coffees. All right, let's go ahead and put up the tasting wheel so you can see what we were getting. And really not happy with this tasting wheel, because this tasting wheel definitely changed from when we made it on day 11 to the way the coffee tastes now, as the acidity probably has died down ever so slightly. The sweetness has gone up. The cleanliness has definitely gone up from level 3 to level 4. Bitterness is at level 3 because the lemon was it was a little bitter, and that's bumped it up to a level 3. But on this day, we would definitely tone down the bitterness to level 2. Citrus fruit, we might even tone down to a level 3. Other than that, body's always been light. This looks, for the most part, other than that, pretty accurate, but so many adjustments and changes that we had made to this tasting wheel just from day 11 to day 15. We want to emphasize that it's been a consistent cup of coffee, but it's been getting better. The flavors, like the zesty kind of vanilla, have been just increasing ever so slightly, while this super lemon has been kind of toning down a little bit, just becoming more well balanced overall. So really enjoyable cup. Our overall thoughts and impressions of it. Truth be told, for the longest time we thought that it was neck and neck with the Los Yoyos and the Divino Nino, but by the end we thought that this was definitely our second favorite cup of coffee that we had purchased from them. So this one, really quality wash processed Ecuador, one of our favorite wash processed Ecuadors we've had in the last couple of years, but that's not a surprise. Passenger's amazing, this coffee was amazing, so they did another amazing job with another amazing coffee. Type of person we would suggest this coffee to, somebody that can wait a little longer than we did, because we think that this coffee is only going to get so much better post the day 14, day 15 mark, as this really enjoyable kind of sweet cookie. It's really nice, and it's even better than the lemon that we were enjoying up until this point. So, but that being said, also keep in mind that it's still a pretty citrusy cup of coffee. So if you like the citrus, especially if you like kind of lemonade tasting coffee, lighter bodied cup of coffee, this is a great fit for you. I think a lot of people would really enjoy this cup of coffee, as we really enjoyed it even more than we had been enjoying it from the beginning. So again, another massive props to Passenger for another amazing cup of coffee. But I think we're going to leave it at that. If you have by chance tried the Jaime Ponce, would love to know your thoughts and opinions of it as well. Still eager to hear anybody else's thoughts and opinions of Passengers. Obviously, we're singing a lot of praise about their coffee. Easily one of our favorite roasters in the world, so it's not surprising that we're enjoying them as much as we are. If you're enjoying the content, give this video a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But this right here has been a review of the Jaime Ponce Wash Processed Ecuador from Passenger Coffee. Thank you for watching.